Nigeria and India have reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening their strategic partnership, focusing on key areas such as economic development, defense healthcare, and food security. This renewed commitment was solidified in a joint statement issued in Abuja on Sunday, marking the conclusion of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to Nigeria, which was initiated by President Bola Tinubu. During his visit, the two leaders agreed to enhance collaboration in counter-terrorism, maritime security, and intelligence sharing, recognizing the importance of protecting maritime trade routes and combating piracy. They also emphasized the need for zero tolerance towards terrorism and expedited implementation of UN resolutions on countering terrorism and violent extremism. Now, Arise analyst Dayo Sobowale joins in now to discuss India's Prime Minister's visit to Nigeria and how Nigeria can leverage on the visit for enhanced trade relations. Good to have you on Newsday. Thank you for joining us as always.
It's a pleasure being here. Good
afternoon. Right. Now, the Prime Minister of India, of course, it's no news that he was here, and President Tinubu even conferred the Grand Commander of the Niger on him, as you know, a way of honoring his visit. What do you foresee as the benefits Nigeria stands to gain? We know that there are already diplomatic relations between the two countries, but with this visit, what are the benefits we stand to gain?
A lot, and it's a step in the right direction. Although it's an elongation of an old historical economic alliance between India and Nigeria. Indians have always been around in Nigeria. And as you can see, I wonder why the two presidents did not go to Rio de Janeiro together, because they will meet there. There's a conference going on of G20 nations. Tinubu has left for the place. But with regard to India-Nigeria relations, it's a robust diplomatic and trade cooperation one. As a youth growing up in secondary school, I could recall, the Indians were building our railways. The Indians were manning the major stores in Lagos, all over Nigeria. The textile companies were owned by the Indians. In fact, at a stage, we call them neo-colonialists. Because second to the Europeans, they are the one employing Nigerians. And people thought they were exploiting us. But now we have both come of age. They got their own independence bitterly through a feud in 1947 when they were about to get independence, and then the British court started a feud between Hindus and Muslims. That led to the creation of India and Pakistan. And later, East Bengal came out of Pakistan as Bangladesh in 1971. So it has a long history of political turbulence. But see, the people are all over the world. They are very enterprising. They are like the Chinese. In fact, they came to this part of the world before the Chinese. Because whether you like it or not, the Chinese are here now. They are the one handling our railways, our ports, our highways. But the Indians were there before them. But now the Indians are coming back. And Modi is playing a key role. And he's been in power now. He's just gotten his third term of 5 years. You get me? He was the one who dislodged the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty in India. Pandit Nehru was the first prime minister. The daughter, Indira Gandhi, became one because she was assassinated. So it's a robust historical, diplomatic, beneficial relationship. They are promised to look into defense, especially maritime terrorism, because you have the highest level of piracy in the world in the Indian Ocean, and at their own end too. So it is a welcome development, and I'm happy it is happening. Unlike what is happening between India and Canada, where they have almost removed diplomatic relationships with each other. But this is a welcome development. Let us leave it at that for now.
Well said, Mr. Sobowale. I appreciate how you stated that this is an elongation of an old historical alliance and also how you showed optimism regarding their promise to look into defense. Now, let's talk about Nigeria's trade deficit with India. It stands at billions of dollars. I'm wondering how you think this visit can practically address the imbalance, especially when it comes to value-added products rather than just raw materials exports.
Well, you did not follow the trend of their discussion. Tinubu went there some time ago. This is a return visit on that. And they have so many things in the pipeline in terms of agriculture, in terms of food, in terms of pharmaceutical exchange programs. And there are about 200 companies, Indian companies, operating in Nigeria, giving employment to millions of Nigerians. So it's not a matter of trade deficit. We are not doing a competition with them. Trade is an ongoing thing. When you talk of deficit, you talk of a national deficit on a periodic basis, on a periodic basis. You don't do that in international trade and international relations. It is ever work in progress. Next question.
Well, if you look at especially what you said earlier in your analysis, that the relations between Nigeria and India was tending towards neo-colonialism. And a lot of there were fears about hyper-exploitation and, of course, Nigeria not taking full advantage of these relations. What do you think, what measures do you think should be in place to prevent that from happening this time around?
Well, we have come of age now. We have come of age. Don't forget that they got independence before us. 1948, we got our own in 60. So they had the benefit of education and economic expansion and trade. In fact, the Indians were all over the place, all over Africa. You get me? They overdid it in Uganda. That was why Idi Amin booted them out. You get me? I said they should go back, and they went to Britain. But then you see, they are all over the world. Indians, Pakistanis, because they are well educated. Because they had access earlier than Africa, the rest of Africa, to English education. So that's why I said they were neo-colonialists. You see, you could see them, they were the bosses after the Europeans. But after independence, you Nigerianized, and we gave them the boot. And we have been in charge since. And they are not as domineering as they used to be, because we have our own mercantile spirit and our own businessmen. Business magnets are competing fully with them. They are competing with them. And let me mention this. It's not been all that sour. Because in the pharmaceutical industry, but for Indian companies, they'll be cooperating with Nigerian companies. They're selling their products now. Many Nigerians will be very there because of the high prices of pharmaceutical companies from products from EU nations. It is different. Now, with the Indians, you go to the market, to the stores, to the groceries. You see pharmaceutical products made in India, marketed by Nigerian companies. And I welcome their participation. I welcome the cooperation. Now, I doubt if you can ever go back to that exploitative one, you get me, pre-independence. So let's leave it at that.
All right, without question, India has successfully built a robust digital economy and tech sector. I'm wondering what concrete lessons from India's digital transformation Nigeria could actually implement, given the different institutional frameworks under which we operate.
We can learn, not implement. We can learn.
Whatever your choice of words is fine.
I don't say whatever.
I say whatever your choice of words is fine.
You learn from them. And I'm happy you mentioned that. I remember when I was in the bank, we started ATMs. If you want to repair certain things in your ATMs, when you phone, they will give you a number. You will be surprised that the person answering you has an Indian accent, and it's because he's answering from India. The IT outsourcing business in the world, I think India has about 50% of it. You get me? They have a robust IT industry. And it has helped them tremendously. And even some European nations are outsourcing the IT needs, get me, to India. And we can benefit from that. And I know we have a fledgling IT industry, which, People think it's largely fraudulent. But no, I admire the creativity, you get me, and skills, innate skills of some of our youth. Although there could be cyber crime, like EFCC people are pursuing them, but you have to acknowledge the ingenuity in using technology to earn a living. Not all of them are illegitimate. That was how India started. That was how Taiwan started. Do you get me? They used to say Taiwan products were fake products. But now later people discovered Taiwan products now are the genuine products. So that is it. So I appreciate our expansion in that area.
All right, let's talk security. Now that is historical, background, roots of Nigeria's relation with India when it comes to training our security men and providing, security equipment. How do you think we can take advantage of that to tackle security, especially seeing this report that India and Nigeria have cooperated in the area of acquiring helicopters and fighter jets and all of this, to counter terrorism and insecurity in the country?
Terrorism, piracy, and insecurity. We are old customers with each other. After Sandhurst, after U.S. Sobowale, most of our military officers go to India for military education, and they are around. So that cooperation has always been there. And like I mentioned, with the transportation, you see, it's a pity our rail system. And it's starting to work now. But for some years, it was comatose. You see, I am a railway person. There are many Indians who are working in in Nigeria. In fact, when I was in school, I was taught by an Indian lady, daughter of an Indian manager of the Nigeria Railway Corporation. So they have always been here. And like I said, the advantage is because they had independence earlier. They had literacy earlier than the average African or the Nigerian. So that put them in charge of the show. But you see, things have changed. So you can only cooperate now. There's no way they can dominate us the way they were doing before. Because we have our factories, we are the one doing business with them now on our own terms. Tinubu went there and negotiated so many things. And he now, on his way to January, has come to do some more things too. So the coast is clear. You get me? But on maritime security, like I said earlier, piracy on our seas and on theirs. They have experience. We have just started our own blue economy. So we can learn a lot to how they police the oceans against terrorism and banditry, seafaring banditry. We can learn a lot from them because they have the experience. They are a much older nation than us, but that does not make us junior partners. Do you get me?
All right,
sovereign state.
All right, Mr. Sobowale, thank you for your time as always.